Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
Hey, and I'm Ralph behind the camera.
How's everybody today? We hope you're doing great. We are, because we are getting ready to make a wonderful sandwich experience that we just had in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
South side specifically, yeah. We are going to have fun today.
Yeah, we were in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, and we saw the sights, and it's a beautiful city, and
a great food town.
But a great food town.
Of course, the history and the art and everything, but the food was incredible.
And of course, when you go to Philly, what do you want?
What do you think of?
Philly cheesesteak sandwich, right? So, we're going to try to make one at home and see if we can approximate. And you know, Philadelphia is wonderful. There's a lot of place that sells cheesesteaks in Philadelphia, and everybody has their favorites. And you know, some say this one's the best, that one's the best. We went to about 4 different places in Philly while we were there, including the 2 real famous ones, which is Pat's King of Steaks and Gino's. We also went to Steve's Princess Steaks, and we also got one inside of the Reading Terminal. And you know what? They were all good. Different elements, each one.
Yeah, very slight differences here and there.
But what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make one here. And basically, it's steak, onions, which you can have with or without, and cheese. Now, there were 2 primary cheese choices when we were there. One was provolone and one was Cheese Whiz. So I read somewhere you got to get it with the Cheese Whiz, and I read somewhere you got to get it with the provolone. And we like it both ways, but
for consistency's sake, Kevin stuck with the Cheese Whiz when we were in Philly on the South Side, specifically getting those famous cheesesteaks there.
And so we ordered a Whiz Wit. So with Cheese Whiz with onions. So what do we get? We got ourselves a jar of Cheese Whiz here, which I've never really used, I don't think, for anything. Not that I can think of, but what we're going to do is...
Not that you're a food prude.
Not a food prude at all. So you know what? If we're going to... I have a double boiler here. I thought this would be a good way to kind of melt this down a little bit for our sandwiches, for our cheesesteaks. So what do we got in the pan here? We got our onions, which we're going to cook in advance.
Kind of sweat them.
Sweat them out, soften them up, sweeten them up a little bit. Those were the onions that we saw on the cheesesteak. So what I did is I put in a couple tablespoons of butter, a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and I diced up an onion, a nice, sweet, big Vidalia onion. Not sure what they use. If anybody knows, let us know what kind of onion they use at the cheesesteak place, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's close enough, but
here again, I got a double boiler as just a way to gently melt the Cheese Whiz without it scorching on the bottom and burning. So the next thing we have to do is our steak. So I'm going to get that. That is a ribeye. My research told me that that is the steak of choice for a cheesesteak. Is a ribeye, is the cut. So we're going to get that going. But we had such a great time in Philadelphia, didn't we?
We can't wait to share the experience, at least our approximation, like you said, of one of the favorite dishes of Philadelphians. And yeah, we had a great time. We're listening to the music of Teddy Pendergrass in the background, who was from Philadelphia. And we are already making the kitchen smell as good as one of those cheesesteak places, because that was the aroma you were getting a lot when you would go to get these cheesesteaks, was the cooked onion, the beefiness of the meat.
When you would get within a half a block of one of these places, it was in the air. You could smell it.
Yes.
And now they use big flat top grills, or at least that's what it looked like they were using. We don't have one, so I'm just using an iron skillet. Another key component, of course, is the roll, the hoagie roll that they use. What I could find, what we're going to use, because it's simply what we had at our local market here, is I've got this loaf of bread, which I'm going to cut and slice in the center, and we're going to use this as our cheesesteak.
Yeah, they were big. They were big sandwiches too.
They were big sandwiches.
If you can imagine like a submarine sandwich, but warm and filled with delicious onions and meat and cheese, that's kind of gives you an idea of the size of this meal, this sandwich meal. So we'll be back after we get all this going.
Yeah, and you know what? We're gonna share with you one of our Philly cheesesteak stops. All right. So guess where we are? We are in Philadelphia, PA, and we are at this famous corner, 9th Street. We are smack dab in the middle of the two most famous cheesesteak purveyors in this town. We got Gino's on one side, and we got Pat's King of Steaks on the other. And we're trying them both right here while we're in Philly for a wonderful weekend. We've had such a nice time here. Such a great city. Oh, hey Ralph, here we are.
Our summer of fun continues.
And here we are in Philadelphia, PA. We are at Pat's King of Steaks. Check it out. So we're doing Pat's, and then across the street is Gino's. Kind of hard to see, but we're gonna do a little Philly steak. We were already at Steve's Princess Steaks, remember?
We call this the Philly cheesesteak reconnaissance.
Yes. So we're just doing our research, and maybe we'll try to make one of these.
That sounds good. I also got a fish cake. I'm not
fish
sure what
cake.
that is,
Wow.
but I thought it would be interesting to try that.
Okay.
So let's try and see what we'll let people know what we think.
We got our birch beer, we got our beautiful cheesesteak at Pat's and fries, and we are ready for some lovin' Philly food right here.
And as always, the true test is in the tasting. So let's see what it tastes like, Kevin.
This is a Whiz Wit. Okay.
What does that mean?
So this is basically, you can get cheddar, provolone, or cheese whiz, which is what a lot of people think is the best and most original.
Classic.
Classic, exactly. So this is a Whiz Whiz. So you see the onions, you see the cheese whiz. It's on this beautiful hoagie roll,
which I believe is toasted too, right? The hoagie roll.
Wow.
That's a mouthful right there.
That is so juicy. You get the onion and that really super melty cheese.
How about the meat? How about the flavor of the?
It's delicious, very beefy, like a steak. Wow.
All right, now
this is some good eating.
We'll see how it compares to the next one in a little bit. Right here on the Summer of Food Fun Cavalcade of Food.
All right, now we're in Gino's. Did you get a? There you go, Ralph. Yep. We were at Gino's Steaks.
It's a little flashier over here, don't you think?
It's bright. It's
a little show busy going on.
A little razzle dazzle.
Little sizzle with that steak.
But it always comes down to it's the same steak. We got
the test is in the tasting.
Whiz Wit. Okay, with onions and cheese whiz.
That's $9.25 worth of hefty sandwich there.
Now here's what I can tell you straight off.
I can't understand a word you're saying. No, go ahead.
Here's what I can tell you straight off. Now that my mouth isn't full. It has a much softer roll. The hoagie roll is a lot softer.
Is it toasted like the other one?
It's not toasted. It's got, but it also has,
just
I gotta tell you, they're
dripping,
both good.
Just dripping with juiciness.
No, look at.
All right, well.
So we're gonna get down to business and enjoy this. We are in beautiful Philadelphia, PA.
South Side.
City of brotherly love, and we are enjoying a beautiful weekend here, and cheesesteaks galore.
Summer of Food Fun continues.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks good. So you're just using a sharp knife to...
Using a very sharp knife, but here's what I did. I put the steak in the freezer for half an hour.
Not to freeze it, but just to get it nice and firm so that it's easier to cut.
So it's not soft, so it doesn't squish, with the knife. and so that kind of keeps it firm, and it makes it easier to cut in these very thin slices here. Okay, strips, exactly. So this is what I'm doing. Again, this is a ribeye is the cut.
And how much?
It's nicely marbled.
How much meat is that?
This was about just a little, about a pound.
Okay. So because we're gonna make, it'll make probably what, about 2 or 3 sandwiches?
I'm hoping, although you know our kind of sandwiches, but. So I've kind of cut the steak up in quarters, and then just because it'd be easier, and it's already kind of getting soft from thawing out.
It's a pretty hot day too.
Yeah, it is hot today, so we're just gonna take a look at the onions here. So I took these off. Okay, here's our onions. Oh, how good those look right there. Okay, again, we cooked those in butter and olive oil, a little salt, a little pepper. I'm gonna put our skillet back on the heat here, and look at our Cheese Whiz, Ralph. Again, I'm keeping it stirred, but it's really kind of
just a nice sauce. Okay.
So yeah, when we were in Philly, we just had a wonderful time. You know, it's the city of brotherly love. And I have to tell you, we ran into so many nice and wonderful people. Thank you, Philadelphia.
Yeah, the people couldn't have been nicer.
Couldn't have been nicer. I'm taking some of the fat off. I'm with a couple of those chunks, but they couldn't have been nicer. We just had the best time. The art, the food,
the history, the architecture,
the music, everything.
If you haven't been to this beautiful American city, check it out.
Yeah. We loved it. We loved every part of it. And so this cheesesteak is almost a way of sort of extending our trip.
So the skillet is nice and hot. And
nice and
it's
hot.
The same one you used for the onions.
For the onions. So I took all the onions out. I used a spatula, and I'm going to brown up the steak. The other thing about, again, they're cut into real thin strips, which means they cook very quickly. And I can't even get it as thin as some of the steak strips we saw in Philadelphia. And they're just peeling them off, literally. They look like cards. And they're putting them on these big flat top grills. And the steak is cooking in a matter of, 40 seconds.
Yeah. But one of the things that made them distinct, to my mind, was you got a really distinct beefiness of the steak, and then the onions or whatever else you added. But they did keep it pretty simple, and they're very adamant about you ordering it correctly. So
yes.
We'll talk about that in probably some of our other...
Yeah, I think we might even have a couple shots of the... I'm putting just salt and pepper on the steak here.
Keeping it basic?
Yeah. You could maybe put a little seasoned salt on it, too, if you wanted to. I'm not sure what they use in Philadelphia, but... Yeah, when you go to order, there's actually this sign before you get to the window that tells you how to order a cheesesteak.
Correctly. Oh boy, I can't tell you how good it smells in this kitchen.
Here we go. Again, it cooked quick. Not as quick as they do in Philly because they're so paper thin.
Well, they've got it down to a science.
They sure do. So I don't know, how else that I could have done it, but I cut it as thin as I could, but it still cooked pretty quick. Okay, so here's what I did, is I took our bread, cut it, sliced it down the middle, leaving it kind of attached on one side like that. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to start with that steak.
Build that sandwich.
Yeah. So we're going to put these steaks here, like this.
Philly soul and Philly cheesesteak sandwiches going together so well.
So we're right back there.
Hot Sunday afternoon.
Okay. So a little bit more. Okay. And then we're going to take our whiz again. You don't want to use Cheese Whiz. You could do provolone, but this is kind of how we had it most of the time when we were there.
In fact, we bought provolone, so we're going to maybe try it both ways. But yeah, we're keeping consistent with the video that you'll see of our adventures in Philly at a couple of different places there.
Onions, look at that. Now come on.
That is
Thank you, Philadelphia.
art on a
PA.
plate. Thanks for the art, Philly. Thanks for the food.
Thank you. And these are big sandwiches. Matter of fact, they would often cut them in half when they gave them to you. But
Oh, you better unhinge your jaw there. Oh my goodness. You know, it's really pretty basic. It's like we were saying, just this beefiness, the onion, and then the cheese, and some nice soft
three
hoagie
simple
roll.
things. And when you're there, oh man, that's good. When you're there, there's also a condiment bar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With these great hot peppers.
Crazy hot peppers, yeah.
Cherry peppers. They're in a brine and they're green and red. And then there's different. Some places have like a kind of a hot sauce to put on there.
Some kind of relish, and there was these like roasted peppers.
Yep.
These really. People like their condiments there, but I think just the basic looks really good.
We love you, Philadelphia. Thank you. The cheesesteak is right here. I wish I had a water ice to go with it on this hot day, but maybe we'll find a beer or something, a Yingling in the fridge, which we also loved. We had such fun doing this because it took us back to our wonderful trip to Philadelphia. So thank you for being a part of it.
And that's a city we recommend to anyone who hasn't yet been there.
No reason not to go. It's all good. And you know what? We'll see you somewhere, sometime in the future, right here on Cavalcade of Food. Thanks for watching.
If we don't see you in the future, we'll see you in the pasture.
Bye.
Bye.